Okay, thank you very much for your time today. I'm here with Disco Dix. Thank you for joining me. Can you please introduce yourself and tell the audience what kind of music you're doing and maybe a little bit about your background, where you came to get together and do this kind of music because it's not so usual.
Good, you want to start?
Yeah, yeah, okay. I'm Rutger. I'm from the Netherlands. In Discodix, I sing and play the guitar, and I kind of come from a kind of I wouldn't call it traditional, but like kind of blues background. And I've played in many different sorts of bands. But I met Stefan while studying at Pop Academy. So we both studied music. I first did for 2 years in Holland before I went to Pop Academy in Mannheim. And on the Rock Academy, and to become a session guitar player. So I kind of dove into that back then, which was also fun. Which I also still kind of do on a like session basis that I play for different acts or productions.
Mm-hmm.
But in the band, we had a different, or we have a different band next to this that's been there for longer, which is called Suit, and that band existed for about 10 years. And about 4 years ago, in an attempt to actually write something for this band, this band Discodix actually started with basically with a sound concept to play guitar and bass at the same time on one guitar.
Yeah. Okay. You already answered one of my upcoming questions because I was listening. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead. But yeah, you answered already one question.
Yeah, you can also. I mean, interrupt where you feel like.
Yeah. No. Sorry. It was a little bit rude. I just get introduce yourself and then we can talk.
Okay. Well, but then I think this is for introduction. You have an idea.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll tell more about the guitar setup in it.
Yeah, Stefan. So, how about you? So now I know how you met, but can you give us a little bit about your musical background?
Yeah, as Rüd already said, we met at Pop Academy. I studied drums there. After that, I also did some music educational studies, which we often like to do, like go in foreign countries and play music there, but also share our knowledge. And yeah, I've been a drummer, I think, since I'm like 6 years old. And basically, I kind of came more from I would say, hip hop based, funk based direction. But then with our other band together, explored more the rock side of music. And then kind of Disco Dix for me brings all of that together in a very nice way. So you have the danceability on the one hand, and more the electronic sample based, or like sample based grooves that we now try to play live or like with analog instruments. And on the other hand, you have the aesthetics that also come quite a lot from rock music and the guitar sounds from it.
Cool. Yeah, no. Maybe we dive right into this because Rut already. You call him Rut, Root or Rut, or how do you?
Rüd, I call him Rüd.
Rüd. So, hi. Because you already answered one question in your introduction, which I had. This was, when I listen to your songs, I hear a bass, I hear drums, and I hear a guitar. And knowing that you're only two people, I was like, how do they pull it off? Because I saw some of your live stuff, and and you anyway, this was a question I had anyway, if you use backing tracks and stuff. But now I'm thinking, because I have seen this before in a live band, that you have one or two strings on your guitar is kind of the bass, right? And then the rest is the guitar. Or how do you pull it off to play
Yeah.
bass and guitar at the same time?
Yeah, no, it's as you say, it's like a special pickup that only picks up the bass strings,
Okay.
and it just has a separate output. Kind of as simple as that. And then the kind of complication where it becomes cool is how you then kind of modify the sound, using different amps and pedals. But basically, the signals straight out of the guitar get into their own signal path, and for the bass strengths, then with octavers and fuzzes or whatever to kind of get a fat bass. But especially, you like with the ideal setup, which is also one of the fun things also as a guitar player to really explore, is like, you're never gonna have as much freedom as you have.
Oh, you froze.
Ever, because you literally don't have to.
Oh, sorry. You just froze for a moment. I'm sorry. I have. Can you repeat what you just said, because we lost the main portion, unfortunately, as you were explaining the fun or the interesting part. Oh man, we have a bad connection.
Yeah, my internet connection is somehow a bit unstable. Am I back now?
Yeah, now you're back.
Now you're back, but yeah, you're.
Let me check if I'm on the. Okay.
On your neighbor's Wi-Fi.
Like the fun part being. Yeah, kind of on the bar below, but that should do. No, like the fun part being as a guitar player, having the freedom to kind of get a sound as big as you can, because you have no other instrumentalist to consider, and you have to fill the spectrum.
I mean, yep. Also from a
so
moving.
There's quite some.
Oh, sorry. We have a lag here. It seems like unfortunately.
Your internet connection is really bad. Could you just switch to your hotspot, maybe?
Give me a second.
Because I think it's not too much fun to listen to that.
Yeah, no, it's kind of the conversation doesn't get going, because we kind of always and we are at a very interesting subject, because this is kind of one of the things that makes you unique. Because I saw that you were only two people, and this is not a big deal today, because I talk with artists who are only one person, So with backing tracks, you can do everything, but it seems like you're not doing it with backing tracks, you're doing it live. So I really would like to delve into this. Yeah, and of course, I did a little bit of research, and I saw that Ruud did some guitar lessons and stuff, and I saw, he's quite a crack. Anyway, I want to get into this, because this is the interesting part. Not Stefan, not kind of putting you down or something, but this is, your unique selling point, like we say, Not that your drums is bad. Don't. This is not the implication here.
Oh, good. No, I understand. It's definitely interesting, and I also like the fact that we really do not use any backing tracks or any samples.
Yeah, this is really amazing, because the sound is quite. Yeah, I don't want it to sound too fanboyish or something, but I'm impressed. I'm quite impressed by if you do this all live. I mean, wow, hats off to you. This is not an easy feat. It's funny. Rutger, interrupt us whenever you are ready. I'm just, filling the time a little bit until we can talk again. I actually saw a combo similar to you, back when there were still festivals, and if the same happened as with you guys, but I was like, I see two people and they're playing live, but I hear a bass and I hear a guitar. And I see only a guitar. What is going on here? And then I talked with them later. It wasn't not your level. We were kind of more heavy stuff, but it was kind of like, man, there's such a deep note in there. This is not a guitar note. Where is the bass? And so we did it on a smaller level. We did what you're doing, but more in the heavy confines. I mean, I don't know how you would call it. It wasn't gent, but it was kind of progressive metal stuff, kind of. But very well done. And Ruth, are you back? Can you hear us? You seem frozen.
I think he's still not alive again.
Yeah, no,
yet.
not really. But anyway, maybe you can tell, because what I'm kind of thinking. I mean, we briefly went over it. So you met in the Pop Academy, but why did you decide to make this kind of music with analog instruments? Is it just the challenge, or I mean, I think it's really cool. Don't get me wrong, but it's kind of. You're doing something what somebody else can do at home, on his computer quite easily, and you doing it in a live setup. That makes it much cooler. That's for sure. But what was your thinking process to get there? Because it's not what you think usually. I mean, what comes normally, I guess, or naturally.
I think it has like two sides. I think the one side is that you kind of doing this not only live but also in the studio when we record. You have the danceability and kind of that steadiness on the one hand in the grooves, and you're trying to emulate that, but at the same time you have the flexibility of acting more dynamically. And also if you play live, you really also can slow down, you can get faster. You have
That's a good
so
point.
many more like human kind of factors that you can use, instead of if you were using backing tracks, you're always bound to a click track, you're always bound to the backing track.
Yeah.
So we have lots of flexibility on the one hand, and at the same time the flexibility also leaves lots of space for like jams, or like our songs often are different every evening we play them. Like maybe this part is longer, there's a solo here, there's something there. And on the other hand, we can integrate all those human aspects to the more electronic based music.
Yeah, that's I talk with a lot of solo artists, and this is exactly their biggest problem, that their stuff gets stale quite easily, because they do it also. They try to keep it fresh for themselves, but usually it's they tip, we start play, and then the song is exactly 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and not longer. And you just can look around like in a real band. I mean, you are a real band, and just say, oh yeah, the audience is going, so let's put on another chorus or something. It's kind of the real life. I mean, I think it's great. It's just like it sounds. It's not easy to achieve this, and you do. So it's Ruth, are you big? Sorry, are you you're big? Are you back? Sorry, I wanted to say, are you back?
I think so. I hear you quite clearly.
Okay, we are not on our end completely sure, because you're still a little bit wobbly. Sorry for that.
Okay.
I think
I can try one more.
You're stuck again. Yeah, and it also shows your connection is red or yellow, but never green.
You should have worn a green shirt,
Wait,
not a yellow
try
one.
More thing.
Okay, yeah, one more thing.
Wait, let me.
Okay,
Maybe it's better here
and
now.
Stefan, we can talk about another interesting thing. We had a little pre-discussion before we had this talk, and what is really funny is, okay, now we know how Ruth and you got together, but the funny thing is you have a Russian management team. This is so you're truly international. Can you maybe say something about how this came to pass that you're with a Russian label?
Yeah, it's not a label yet. It's basically management. But
Management, yeah, I meant management.
since we started playing shows in Russia, I think from 2018 on, and I think we've been there 9 times since then already. Yeah, we kind of really started loving the country and also the people there and their enthusiasm about live music, which is very, I would say, which is quite a difference than to people here and their interests and like their love for live music. I think their live music still has a different value than it maybe has here, or like at least in like if you really look at the whole society. um, yeah, and I think that's also because we met so many great people there, and we also do some kind of educating programs there, or like educational programs there, where we teach music and like music business.
Okay.
So we that also helps us really like in getting to know great people and getting to know cool people. That educational program is called Ural Music Camp, just in case you're interested in that.
Yeah.
But this is also in that
I'm a
in
little
that.
bit too old, maybe, for getting
No,
a
no, no. I
class.
mean, if this is something I don't know, people might be interested in, because we also actually have lots of very talented people there, like Russian musicians, basically from all over Russia. But that's also in that camp we met our basically people that now do the management for us, and it's like yeah, it's actually a couple, and the girl, she's working for MTV in Russia,
Oh.
and the guy, he's more like kind of a social media management kind of, yeah, works for a bigger company doing that stuff, and he kind of, I think, also had music more as a hobby, but she was really already in creative industries, and they kind of teamed up, and yeah, that's how we got to know them, and then kind of it started, they just organized a little tour for us, and yeah, now we're working together with them since 1.5 years.
Cool,
But
cool.
I think Rud is now back and the
Yeah,
connection looks good.
now, yeah, he looks good, even in a yellow shirt. We have a better connection now. I don't see where you see it, but yeah. Anyway, he looks, he can move. Yeah, we can see him move. So, Ruth, we were kind of interrupted. You already said talked a little bit about your guitar setup. So you have two different pickups. So one is more for the lower tones. So my question now is, sorry, this is a little bit, because I think it's interesting, as it's not very usual. You have a special strings on your guitar still, or you have normal strings and just the pickup kind of decides which sounds come out. How do you play your stuff? Because yeah, this is quite unusual.
It's regular strings on the guitar, and I've there's quite some options to do this, and there's also quite some like pickups that work for it. I started with it's called the Submarine. I
Okay.
don't know if you've seen that.
No, sorry.
It's a
I'm not.
British.
I'm a bass player. I'm a lowly bass player, so I I don't know much. I have only 4 strings to take care
Okay.
of.
The Submarine is basically it's basically like a pickup that you can kind of use magnets to put it either on the bass strings or on the top strings,
Okay.
and it has a separate output with the jack.
Okay.
That's kind of the simple version. That's how I started. When this idea kind of came to be, that I thought, okay, because that's only $100, and you can put it on any guitar, which is quite useful. And quite some people also like use it for acoustic guitars, the submarine thing, and then put it on the top string, and for instance only put like a wet signal on the top strings, and have the DI outputs for the acoustic guitar. So this device really is quite handy when it comes to picking up just a couple of strings. And now I have it's a Fender split coil, which then has 3 strings, and that's then built into the guitar, which also has 2 outputs. And basically, where the whole sound comes from is from the boards.
Okay.
The pickup on its own has just like a regular guitar sound on it, with just the bass strings.
Okay.
Okay. Then if I then take the output of the bass strings, and then I can quickly take you to the chain. At first, I need to fatten it up a bit, so I have some kind of like preamp, like this EP booster. Then, because it needs to be quite a warm sound for the octavers, in my opinion, that works the best. So I think I have a preamp, then a compressor for the octavers, because that's problem one that you really fall into, is that the tracking of the octavers. I've tried many, and there's I haven't found one that works 100% good. Let's put it like that.
Okay.
And then they either have like some slight latency, or the tracking sometimes picks up like an octave higher and then it drops a little bit later, which is all the things you don't want. But anyway, with a hot signal and a compressed signal, it works 90% good. And then it goes into like I have different octavers because they have different sound, and basically your sound comes from the octaver, basically kind of being a synthesizer, so to say, because your octave down below is a synthesized signal. And then from the octavers, I tried some different stuff with either drives, and now for the more heavy stuff, I use the plasma pedal. I don't know if you know that one.
No, sorry, I don't know.
It's from Game Changer Audio. They make super insane stuff.
I'm kind of so I lost overview, I have to admit. I decided, I have so much stuff which I even cannot play, so I stick with the stuff I have and don't buy any new stuff. So that was just my opinion.
There's so much stuff, and it's also going quite fast with the amount of stuff. So I also it gets confusing at some point. But anyway, so just for the chain, so then from the octavers into different kind of drive to a bass line. And then if like when I'm recording, I often leave the board earlier, or even like one dry signal, because some plugins with octavers work sometimes better with the tracking as a kind of emulated dry signal. And then one dry without the drives. So that is kind of the bass chain. So, and that just comes from the split coil, and then the guitar setup basically works as a normal guitar.
Okay, and then you have a separate amp for this, and separate effects and stuff, another chain. What I'm kind of just as you were explaining it, okay, sorry, we might get too technical, but it's just kind of, how can you avoid any bleed over? That it's kind of that you get it so clean, because I have used octavers in the past, and as you said, you have to be very precise, and you have to mute all the other strings, that there's no bleed from the other. How did you get? I mean, I would really need to check more of your, in preparation of this talk, I checked some of your videos you put out where you kind of taught some of your songs and stuff. Maybe I should get more deeper into this to really see how you do it. Because, yeah, I'm kind of thinking, I hear what you're saying and I believe you, of course, and it's a great feat that you do it. So you have two outputs and you play two things at the same time, but I just cannot get how there is no dissonances and bleeding over from the other strings. What I'm talking about. You have to play very precise to get it to do different things, to do one thing. I mean, you use one guitar to do two different things.
I mean, there is still a noise gate at the end of the channel. That helps a bit when it comes to if I don't play the bass strings and the octave, because it's not 100% clean either. But I think that's also where the kind of rock and roll part kicks in.
Okay, yeah, and you're right. Now when I'm, it's a silly question as because you're the disco dicks. It's kind of, it needs to be a little bit fuzzy and a little bit rough, kind of. So maybe I don't know if I got a time frame here. I never had this before because maybe I have to.
Yeah, we have to restart maybe in like 10 minutes.
Okay, when we do this in 10 minutes. Okay, sorry. It's the first time, maybe if I usually talk only with one person, I don't have it because I never had this issue. Anyway, so Disco Dicks. That's a very and sorry, I promised you not to ask stupid questions or normal interview questions, but this is a question you might have gotten before in normal interviews. What's the reason behind this very particular name? I guess you have a story for that.
Yeah, I think there's actually two stories to it.
Okay.
But like the actual story, how it happened, we were recording, as we said before, for our other band called Suit. And the two of us just were in the studio and played some groovy stuff, but also quite fuzzy, quite heavy. And it kind of really had that, like we called it like that underground disco vibe. And then I think Ruud wanted to put the name of the demo in and just call it Disco Disco. And because the keyboard was broken, I think it became like Dico Dico. And then from Disco Disco to Dico Dico, and then there was not that far anymore to go to Disco.
Okay.
And I think at the same time, also the whole band and the whole concept, we don't take life too seriously. We don't take ourselves too seriously. So then we just thought, okay, I think that's good name. Let's just keep it.
Yeah, I saw your live performances in Russia with the hats and stuff, So yeah, I mean it's real. Let's maybe talk about this as we are all in the same situation at the moment. I know Ruud is happy that he still can work as a musician. You have told me, but did you do any? Okay, let me phrase it differently. I guess your biggest appeal, your biggest draw for the audience is that you do everything live, and if you're in front of them, you do it live and it's really cool. But of course, at the moment, we cannot have live shows. Maybe in the Netherlands, it's a little bit different. But did you try any of this streaming or Twitch or things? Did you try that? Or is it not for you? Because this is kind of counterintuitive for making analog music in a digital environment, basically?
I mean, we did when everything was first in lockdown last year. We did a couple of streams, and we at first we did one. It was not so checked out, just with the Instagram account and a phone, and then a later one with the camera crew and a mixed session, which is also it's good also because you can kind of still connect with your audience, and everybody is missing live events. But I mean, I think it's good, but it doesn't replace it. Like there's in the end it's still people sitting at home in their pajamas and
maybe
having
not
their
even
phone in their
that.
hand.
No.
Yeah, I think it's a good tool to connect or stay connected with your audience and your fans, but it really does not replace the experience of going to a live show. And I think also because of that, there is a limit of what is possible with a live stream, and because also there's so many, after a while you also just get kind of bored with it, or you need to make them so super like cool or extraordinary with like visuals that it also gets quite expensive, and normally you, at least from a money point of view, you get very little back.
Yeah, but maybe let's stay there. I have to admit I didn't check all of your videos on your YouTube channel, but do you have some? I mean, I saw some live videos and things, but do you have any music videos, real music videos you put up?
Yes. I'm thinking which. Yeah, we have
Disco, right?
one. The Dico Disco, which is the first one. That was our first release, which is quite a while back. I think it was like fall to actually no.
17?
Dico Disco, I see it here. It's 2018 somewhere.
That was kind of the start, where also like the Dico that was our jam, where the name comes from, and the song stayed kind of. We've won, but we're preparing quite a bunch at the moment. Because we wanted to release more. But it's it's a weird time, like it's, especially as a band now, do you release because you can use the releases to promote your events as well, but there's hardly any events, and we're also still kind of lacking support, as in like doing a proper release costs money to promote it and to get it to places. So do we want to do that alone with our team? Or would we preferably still have other partners? So at the moment, we're mainly just focusing on content because we have the time and we have the space to make it. And there is actually already quite some video material with that. But when we're exactly going to release that is still quite a bit vague.
Yeah, it's a bit sad. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, no problem.
It's a bit sad because we have quite a lot of stuff actually in our sleeves, but we kind of agreed on we would not release it now, or like some stuff also still needs some work. But it feels like there's very little happening if you're like on the audience side, but actually lots of stuff is happening, and also lots of new music has been written and also is like in the making at the moment.
I just checked your releases, and you're usually doing EPs or like one song or two song EPs. Are you planning on a? I mean, you said now you're working on things. That there will be a whole album, or what is in the works, right? I mean, because okay, I have to get a little bit. we live in a different time today. It's not that you have a double CD album release, every 10 years and stuff. As much as I hate it, we have to stay relevant, and that you have to produce things, and you have to kind of blip out, that people know that you still exist, like you just said. There's a lot of stuff going on, but nobody knows this. We might soon need to reconnect, but I just can finish this thought, I guess. So, in a way, it seems like in the past you did it correctly, that you released single tracks and things kind of to fan interest, to also feed the algorithm of Spotify and all these other outlets that you need to be on today, basically. I'm not sure about Russia. I think Spotify is not that big in Russia. They have it, but it's not the biggest thing for them. Anyway, So you have no real strategy of releasing a whole album, because now would be the perfect time to do something like every 3 weeks or a month or something. And I guess we will reconnect. Boo-doo-doo. Let's do this again. Sorry for the interruption. I haven't had this before, so I need to do again. Sorry. I'm just here. Let's do it again. Da sind wir. Here we are, and wie Teilnehmer einladen. Bam, zack, here we go. I'm sorry that I have to say something silly right now, because I have to kind of fill the time, and I will fill the time and ask interesting questions, hopefully, in the future. And I don't know, I will have to check this out with Zoom. Sorry for that, it never happened to me before. I have used it quite extensively. I like Zoom the most so far. But yeah, it's the first time that I had this, the restrictions of time. It's strange. That's really strange. That's why I'm talking. Sorry for that. I heard of a restriction, but I never had restrictions with Zoom. So it's really weird for me.
Yeah. I think they always start like you have like, I don't know, like 5 or 10 meetings with more people that kind of they normally work, and then at some point
they want you to. It's clever. It's a clever strategy. So, but I gonna learn, and I'm not gonna use Zoom anymore. That's bad, because I mean, I liked Zoom a lot, but the free version, and I used it quite extensively. So I don't know. I got maybe 15 free plays, and now I'm kind of well, there's other options. And that's not. But anyway, we can already talk a little bit further about your release strategy, because at the moment would be a perfect time. But maybe we wait until Ruth is back.
One other question, also wir können ja kurz auf Deutsch reden. Schneidest du eigentlich mit? Also nimmst du auf?
Ich nehme das auf, ja. Und ich bin halt sehr faul beim Schneiden. Deswegen habe ich jetzt quasi die Zeit auch gefüllt mit Sachen.
Du nimmst es mit einer Kamera auf, weil
ich
du
nehme
kannst
das
ja einfach auch Zoom aufzeichnen.
Genau, nein, ich nehme das mit einer Kamera. Ich habe ein extra Programm, wo ich das extra noch aufnehme. Sorry, Ruth, we're going back to English. Yeah, he just asked me, I'm going to record everything. And I'm not going to use Zoom to record. I'm using OBS. That's a free software for recording. So that's why I have, as you were gone, I was bubbling stuff, so that I'm not losing things. Anyway, we were about the thing that now would be actually the perfect time to work on your releases, or releasing something like every 3 weeks or a month or something to keep interest. And so what holds you back? Or and the second question with it, how? No, let's talk about this first. So why are you not doing this? Is there a specific reason?
Well, we just released a song today, basically, or a live studio session. But I think with the more written stuff, we still have kind of some strategy planning open to see when is it smart to release, like, because we also want to bring it in the format of a record.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, we released something in November, and we released like a live video from our last gig today. And we're basically, like, we have, I think, a double record up our sleeves when it comes to songs that are 80% finished, produced. And it was kind of the idea to still kind of, in a traditional way, make like it being a record with a kind of concept, but still do the releases separately. And I mean, it is a good time, but what we've also noticed is that we, as being independent, there's just quite a limit to the reach that we can have. And we think just with the stuff that we have, we just want to give it a bit more time to first maybe lobby a little bit behind the scenes, to see if we can, if it makes sense, you know, if there's somebody that gets the concept, likes the idea, and is willing to make a step with us. You know, if that kind of rhymes. So I think we're kind of taking the time to sit on the egg a little bit longer.
You don't want to burn out, basically. You don't want to, you know, fizzle out and have a big splash. And I'm completely hearing what you're saying, if because I have seen it before, you know, that bands were big in a moment, and then we fizzled out and nothing is there. So you're kind of taking your time to have a real strategy behind what you're putting out. This is what I get from you.
Yeah, it's a strategy / other potential partners / you know,
a label money or something.
Yeah. So I mean, but I think we're also we're trying to keep the fans that we have also entertained with the stuff that we still have. But like when it comes to like a big release, like a record or EP or 2 EPs, this is a little bit on hold. But I think like in the next 1 or 2 months that we will definitely drop some other stuff also, because we have a lot. So we can actually and we can still also figure out what we do with the more pop orientated stuff, or, you know.
I think one of our problems also is a bit that because we also have so many different kind of directions that we dive into, like really the more rock orientated stuff, the more dancey stuff, the more clubby stuff, but also the more pop songs. We also still are searching ourselves for a smart strategy, how to release it and when to release it, to also not confuse the audience too much. Because if you like, we also have lots of covers and lots of features with other artists, but if you put out a cover, then the next day a dancey, or like next month a dancey track, then a rock track, then a poppy track, and then a feature with a Russian artist, then also for people, I think it's when they see us live, they understand that it all fits together. But as long in the moment as people cannot experience us live, it also feels a little bit random, maybe. And so right now we are also basically working on a strategy. What is the smartest way to release, and also which tracks? Maybe we also thought of maybe we do EPs, and then like let's say 4 EPs, and then later bundle those EPs to a double record. But it's really like we're also still searching in that sense.
I
So we
see.
don't
Yeah,
have a perfect
you're
plan.
looking
We're
for your
still working on
voice.
it.
You're looking for your voice. But I think what you just said, this sounds like a good strategy. That you kind of bundle your EPs. That you have like a more rock EP, with 4 rock songs, and then you have some and here the tribute CD EP where you have all 5 cover songs of you. So that is kind of. In it's the package kind of tells what it is, but I get your struggle, and I also know it's absolutely correct that you shouldn't fizzle out and just throw things at people and then they don't know how to get it. What I was also thinking is I'm a little bit surprised, and of course I told you beforehand, don't tell me anything that I shouldn't know. That you have kind of, or I perceive it as this, that you have trouble to find a label who would kind of sign you, because you're the perfect cash cow these days, because you do live shows and you do the real thing, and people, I'm it's very accessible, and it's easy to fall in love with, or maybe it's just my perspective, but so I'm a little bit surprised that you haven't found a label who would kind of push you a little bit more. I mean, you have these couple from Russia, and that's good. But these days, as you don't get rich by Spotify plays or something. You should go and have concerts, and I mean, you're not right now, I know in which situation we are right now, but you're doing exactly what the labels want these days. That's what I'm saying. You do live shows which are engaging, and people will pay for it to see it, and then you can put on your merch and stuff. So I mean, you should be kind of a cash cow for any label what kind of is interested. So I'm a little bit surprised that you're, or maybe it's you, what you said, Stefan, with that you're kind of still feeling the water a little bit, that you don't really know in which direction you want to go. But on the other hand, it seems like you want to go in a few different directions. So it's a mix anyway. So yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. And you don't have to comment if you don't want to comment.
No, I just want to add one thing. I think we know what we want, but I think people also understand when they see us live. But it's just the thing, if you just release those tracks and people don't know you as an artist, they might be confused. But we also discussed it quite often, that we really also want to express all those sides that we have. But of course, there is a question: how do we do that in the best way? Also, that for an audience, it's understandable. And second of all, yeah, with the label, thanks for the nice feedback. But yeah, I think on the one hand, maybe we just haven't found a label yet that fits. On the other hand, maybe because we also both studied music and also did quite some music business, have quite some experience there. Maybe we also have a expectation from somebody
I see. You read the contracts. You read the contracts and don't get signed off for 10 years and 20 albums or something. Yeah, I get it.
Like we had offers also with our other band, but then if you really look at them properly, then basically often you have, okay, we help you with the releases, but on the other hand, what do? They put it on Spotify. This we can do ourselves, but then often there is like the problem is what they offer is very little, but basically, but we're still looking, or I would say mainly we're looking for partner with booking. So not necessarily just a label, but of course, if there would be something combined like booking and label, I think we're still interested. But mainly, we're looking for we want to play more live when it's possible again. And also, we have quite some good partners in Russia, but actually in Europe, we're still lacking partners to play better and bigger shows.
That's a little bit odd because, I mean, and you don't have to say anything if you don't want to say, because you were in the Pop Academy and you are from Germany. So you have, I mean, I would think you would have a little bit more footing or ground, or a basis there. That why do you struggle? Is it just because you're such a little bit a mixed bag and you cannot really sell yourself so well? The sound that people are not really. I don't know, jumping on it, or like you said in the beginning, that Russia, they really, want you and they really appreciate what you're doing. And in Germany, it's a little bit more like, we have a techno party and we have this and that, so you kind of really haven't found your niche. Is it just that?
No, I mean, I think it's kind of a combination of things. I mean, we haven't really reached out often. We actually had it planned as a kind of like we had our EPK, finished and ready for spread, and then Corona hit, and then everybody was surprised. So in that sense, we haven't really reached out yet. So that is one, and in combination with that, like it took us a little bit to like digitally translate that people understand without seeing the band live. This is what this is. That took us quite a while also to film at gigs and to also because we kind of built the place where we record here in the meantime, and also the whole producing and mixing that we do ourselves was also relatively new. So it was also kind of a playground. So I think it's a combination of, on the one hand, being quite specific about what we think is good or bad. So we also, everything took a little bit longer before we thought, okay, now it's cool. And getting this kind of, like the digital translation of the experience, which is quite nice with talking to you that you you got the message,
Thank you.
Which is cool. So I think it's struggling is a big word. I think in that sense we're just also still quite young, and when it comes to Pop Academy, there's a bunch of people and connections, but most of them we actually haven't reached out to yet. So I think the problem there is more time, and then at the moment also kind of like now I will be fine again with contacting the bookers and the labels. But last year in April, when we wanted to do that, I think everybody would look at you like nobody knows what's going on, nobody's want to invest.
It's an unfortunate situation. I mean, it was bad timing in a way, and this was not your fault, of course. I wanted.
We have some. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
We have some own concepts though of how we wanna like get back to life, like for live shows. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't want to interrupt you if you.
No. I had just as he was talking, I was thinking. So as you are very specific and stuff. So I mean, it's good that you both found each other, so that you're doing this kind of music. But can you tell me or the audience how you come up with a song, with a starting point, and how do you finish it? Because this is sometimes really difficult, and you said that you have like 80% of finished stuff, so sometimes it's not easy to get to the finishing line, because you can always change things and put a little bit more of this and that. So how is can you just walk us through your process? How does it start? do you jam together, or Red come up with a riff and then you just beat, and I don't know, can you just walk us through a little bit how from the beginning to the end, how does it work with Disco Dicks?
Yeah,
I think
yeah, you can go first. I just want to say the 80% finished stuff, the songs are finished. It's just in the mixing and production stuff where there still has stuff to be finished. But Ruud, you can go on.
Yeah, I mean, I think the funny thing, which is also one of the fun things about the band, is that we basically combine them all. So sometimes I write a song on acoustic guitar and just take the full song. I say, okay, Ooh, am I unstable?
No, you're fine. I can hear you. We both can hear you. You're
We
not
just didn't
unstable.
move.
Did you just okay? If you want, I can.
It showed me.
I can have a background music here. Something.
I think we just didn't move, so we looked close, but you're perfectly fine.
I will fill my cup and move again.
Okay, that easy. Yeah, so sometimes it's like the classical form that that it comes from an acoustic song. Sometimes it comes from a jam. Sometimes it goes from the jam into the production already without it being a song. If you think, okay, this is a cool groove, and we have, we're in recording week, let's do this, and that, and actually some of the cooler ideas come there. And it also sometimes happens. Actually, our last release, Apollo, that was I think 90% we just jammed that track at a gig in Russia. We said, okay, we did 3 sets and there was a DJ in between, and he played some stuff, and then he was finished, and Stefan told me, okay, let's just do a jam in that kind of style to start a new set. And we did that, and I think our management then recorded, and that is really, beside the lyrics, it's exactly how the song ended. So it's basically everything, which is also cool. That also it's especially live. We being a 2-man band, you can you're super free. You can do anything you want. If it's a jam or if it's a transition part or how long the parts are, which is just different than regular bands, and that I'm also used to.
No, that's what I meant. That's a big selling point for you. I just wanted to say something funny, but I didn't want it, to because that the Russians have a different program. It's not the Apollo program. It's the Sputnik and the you got the how you say the wrong country. Apollo is not Russia.
No, it's true. It's actually it's a reference to the Greek god.
Okay.
It's not the
because I saw there was the like we would say in Russian, the cosmonaut, and it has. So I thought it had something to do. Yeah, it's a picture of like space something, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, maybe I read it wrong then, but because it's Apollo, I was like Apollo, the Apollo mission and stuff. So I think it's funny that in Russia you kind of gave him the Apollo.
Yeah, we should have called it Sputnik then.
Yeah, you should have. Yeah. Anyway, or Yuri Gagarin, keine Ahnung. I'm from East Germany, so I grew up, with. I learned 6 years of Russian in school, but I hardly speak it. Menya Savut Tobias. I guess you understand this now. But anyway, as we're just talking, who does your artwork? Because I was a little bit misled by your Apollo upload thing. So who's doing that?
I think.
But that was you take it, Stefan.
No, I just said, like, I think actually different people do our artworks, but it's always kind of like friends or people that actually approach us and say, I really like the music. Are you interested in whatever kind of collaboration. And I think that is what happened with with all of the artworks actually we have. It was never us asking people, maybe are you interested in making artwork? It was always the other way around, which is actually very, very nice. And Ruud, you want to say something about the Apollo artwork?
No, yeah, no, it's indeed basically for all the artworks, it's often like local artists that we either met from here or from being on the road that we think, hey, cool, we have a song, you know, you want to make something? And for the Apollo, like there's because she was in the beginning also a bit confused, like, well, what is the Apollo reference in this one? But it's because it's kind of a conversation with oneself, and the vibe it's I think it's a bit spacey with the kind of big urby stuff. And if you look to the details, they hold the Greek. I don't know how you call it. The harp. And I think like they have the Greek elements in their hands. Okay. There is some Greek mythology hidden in the cover.
Okay.
Anyway,
yeah, I
so
mean, it looks cool. No question about it. You know, it's just yeah. Okay, I will. You know, I have it here on Spotify, and I see only a small fraction of it. So it's I need to check it more in detail.
No, but it's a common confusion, which I also understand.
What? But Apollo is not Russian? No, it's not a common confusion, I guess. Did you learn some Russian as you were there so often? I mean, you said you taught like 5 or 7 times there.
Choo-choo.
YouTube.
No, choo-choo. I said that means choo-choo. That means a little bit.
Okay. Malenki.
No, actually,
okay.
Not too much yet, unfortunately. I think we're both happy that we kind of can read Kyrillian by now. So that already was a quite big step. It's also not too difficult, but like the first 3 times we were sometimes
you feel
just
like
the
an
2
idiot.
of us on the road, and we were super confused. Like in Moscow, we took, I think once we wanted to meet some people and we took the wrong metro, like I think 4 times in a row because we were super confused.
The Moscow metro is one of the oldest. You know, I never been there, but it should be very beautiful. They really,
very beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, it's actually a good point. Once you know the Cyrillic alphabet, it's actually not so tough. You know, there's a lot of, I think, it's like telephone you can read, and, you can read things. It's just...
quite a lot,
yeah. It's a Greek alphabet in Russian tongue, whatever. Yeah, anyway. I don't want to keep you for too long. Usually I go for an hour, and because of our little difficulties, but I have like a few fun questions I would like to ask, and I think for you it's the perfect one. As you were on the road, it doesn't have to be in Russia or something. What was the funniest thing that happened on stage, or backstage, or on route to the stage, kind of some touring things? I mean, keep it PG-13, please. YouTube is a little bit strange. Were any funny stories you want to share?
I need a second to think. If you have one, Ruud, go first.
I'm also thinking.
Okay.
I have a good one actually. From Kazan, we played quite a funny show there, like in a cool rock club. And like basically the whole evening is a very fun story. Like we kind of came there with a night train. I think we kind of got out of the train, went something like straight to sound check, and then it was Ruud's job to do the shoppings. And after that, we had I think, what was it, like a 22-hour train ride to Yekaterinburg. So we spent another 22 hours in the train
Oh wow.
right after the concert. And so his task was to buy some like food, like some groceries, and also because you shouldn't drink the water in the Russian trains, like to buy like some big cans of water.
Hmm.
And we already, I think we had some beers, had some good
And you
foods.
bought vodka or what?
No, and
You
he
know,
came
go
back
for it.
with like two 5-liter bottles
Hmm.
of like, what is it actually called? Like cooling liquid for cars, like the blue stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Your Russian wasn't good back then. Shit.
No,
Yeah.
but because I think it was dark and like in the supermarket, obviously there was the difference was not, or he thought the container is blue, but then I was there like, it's like, what are
Hmm.
we gonna do with like 10 liters of that stuff in the train? And then but we kind of fixed it all, and the whole evening was very funny because like the sound guy there, he also was a big fan
Hmm.
because we met him a year before, and I think we played 3 sets, and every break we had, he invited us, I don't know, like to 4 or 5 vodkas and some beers, and like
Oh. Oh.
basically every set we got more drunk. We kind of, we kind of finished the show.
But you don't
Um,
remember. You don't remember anything.
we don't remember too much. Went straight to the train station, and then I think took us took us quite a while then to wake up again.
Yeah, you passed out in the train. Yeah, I talked with a band from Ukraine before, and they also say, you know, it's kind of very usual that people see. That's maybe a good question for you, because you are the drummer, and so you don't take your drum set with you, because I mean it's quite you know, I mean it's a lot of stuff you have to haul around. So how do you get the drum from the clubs you play in, or how do you do it?
Yeah, I basically only take my cymbals, my snare, and
Hmm.
some percussions that I always like kind of use for the discotheque signature sound. And then you're kind of bound to the equipment that the clubs have to offer. Sometimes it's very good stuff. Sometimes it's like the
Not so
crappiest
good
stuff
stuff.
you can
Mm.
imagine. Like we had a drum kit completely made from plastic, like not only the shells but also the hardware that is normally made from metal also was from plastic. Like it really was like a children's toy.
What?
um,
Okay.
yeah, but I really like the way you can travel there, because
Hmm.
basically after a gig you can go to the train station and you can sleep in the train,
Hmm.
and the next day you wake up in another city. You have little gear, so you can also carry it on your own. You get out, you go to the club, you have sound check, you get food, and then you play again. So that's
Hmm.
also a very nice lifestyle we also really love to
Hmm. Yeah,
experience.
and Russia is a big country, you know. So I heard that the trains are not that good. I mean, you're not not compare them to German trains or something, or you know, Chinese trains. I've been once in China, and this is like you get into like a Boeing 747 or something. Um, but yeah, it's comfortable for, you know, getting from A to B, and you can sleep there. I heard this too before. So just a little side note. What's your favorite dish in Russia? What's your favorite meal? Because I guess you had a few now.
I
Don't
think I would go for borscht.
borscht. Okay.
I mean, Boris, they definitely do really great. I mean, they have some really great dishes, but we've also been in many locations at gigs where it was just rice with chicken, or
Hmm.
like plain like rice with some dry chicken.
Do
And
you send them specifics what you want to eat? You know, like your rider. Do you tell them, okay, this needs to be there or something, or you just say whatever, vegan or vegetarian or
Yeah, I think it really depends on the venues you play. I think there's some venues that really do it very well, where you get proper stuff. You can also say, or maybe you even can order at a restaurant. But there's other ones where you cannot do anything, and you go there, and sometimes we also had it. We even had to pay for the food. So
oh wow. So they pay you, and then you have to pay for the food as well.
Kind of, and we also had to pay for the beer. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah, they're a bit different, but we're also with the people. It's growing though, which is also a nice feeling. But like one of the things that we now definitely miss, like it's the whole combination of the country and the way that you travel and the type of gigs and the people at the gigs. It's really kind of a special experience that you cannot really compare to playing here or in the US or it's really
Yeah,
which is also
I heard
really,
this. I heard this too. That the Russians are kind of a very how you say likable audience. We really get into it, and we're not. I think I know what you mean. Sometimes when you go in Germany to a gig and then you stand there in the corner and just now he missed a note, now he missed a beat, and we're not listening to the music. I mean, we're listening to the music, but we're listening to the faults of the music and don't really enjoy what it is. And for me, this is the difference sometimes between a musician and a music lover. A music lover goes there to enjoy, and they don't care if you miss a beat or if you hit the wrong note once in a while. I mean, if you don't do it too often, too repeatedly. But anyway, I guess this is. This is the difference there. The audience here in Europe, because Stefan said this before a little bit, I think is too fatigue, or no, it's too kind of they don't really know how good they have it, that they have good shows and stuff, so they don't really appreciate it so much anymore. And there, I guess you play in a lot of different localities, and then we really kind of think, oh man, and this is a band from, I don't know how you bill yourself, from Germany or from Amsterdam or just from Europe mainland. I don't know how you would how do you introduce yourself on stage? I mean, where you're from, where you're from. I mean, that's the thing.
I think this always depends on where we play.
Oh, okay.
Like sometimes you can use the exclusiveness factor, so sometimes it's better, like when we play Germany, it's maybe better to use the Amsterdam kind of thing. When we play in Russia, it sometimes doesn't matter. Or let's say you get invited by the German embassy, so you're better a German band. Also could be the other way around. So but I think we're basically European, but based in Mannheim. So
I see. Okay, guys. The counter is ticking again. I'm not gonna use Zoom again. I'm really zoomed out now. I'm sorry for that. It's really the first time I ever had this, and like Stefan said, this is kind of how we lure you in, and then they want your money. Okay, So. Thank you for your time. We still have like 6 minutes. So, you have any closing thoughts for the audience? Anything you wanna share with them? You already said the most important thing. There is lots of stuff that's coming up. So that's good to know for them that you don't let them hang. You just kind of in the process of finding your way how to do it. So, do you have any closing statements for the people out there?
Yeah, I think one that I also wanted to tell beforehand was like, we're trying to go on tour this year, if we're somehow allowed to, on a bicycle, the two of us riding bikes, taking all our gear, and then we haven't figured out the route yet, but we just hope that people want to support that idea, and we hope to see people at our bicycle tour shows.
Cool. Let me know. I have a weekly radio show as well, so I can give your tour dates and stuff. So give me a sign of life, and then I can say, okay, they made it. They made it to this location. Go there.
Yeah.
on time or too late.
We also
Yes,
want to make a vlog or something maybe when we do that,
that's a good
because I
idea.
think lots of stuff is going wrong there, which is also lots of fun, probably for the people watching more than for us. But I think that's part of the game.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a really good idea. You know, it's kind of like a DIY a kind of approach, and you know, and this is once again, sorry for saying it again, but what's the cool stuff about you, because it's really DIY. You know, I mean, I would have really liked to seen the thing where you played on a plastic drum kit because it sounded surely like shit, but. Just maybe we have 4 minutes left. Raj, so because your setup is much, so you have kind of basically then your effect board. I take it you take with you, but you take the amps whatever is where when you go to the location as well, because you
Yeah.
don't have the amps with you.
No, just the boards. But the boards alone, because it needs to be two, and it needs to be quite a bunch of pedals to make it work. So I have this kind of double decker big traveling thing, which is always, I mean, you kind of get used to it, but it's not the most fun about the touring with the thing, because also with the flying, you know, if it's properly packed, it's getting close to 40 kilos.
Oh
Because,
wow!
you know, it's two bombs in there, and then very often we have to unscrew the guitar because of the check-in and the thing, and often in Russia you also fly still. So we also had a couple of times that we went from the airport and then into the cab, screwing the guitar back together to the gig, and then figuring out they actually don't have a bass amp because they figured they didn't have none, you know. So
And I just
there's lots of
realized. I just realized you will have the longer. Usually, the longest sound check is with the drums, but I guess you kind of have the longer sound check with your setup, because you kind of have to fine tune it for every gig again. You know, because if you're in a new location, people really, I mean, you're a problem, a nice problem.
I mean, what helps though is that I take most of the stuff that I can already troubleshoot with. So if I have a kind of decent guitar amp, I'll be kind of okay. And the bass amp, the bigger, the more fun, because it also for this kind of clubby stuff, the more sub is just cool. But then often also, even if it's just the eye, that also happens. You know, in the end, it's I also really like that Jack White mentality, where you think, you know, whatever is there, it's the attention that makes it work, you know.
Exactly,
So
exactly, and this is you know, once again, this is really working for you, because your stuff is never stale. It will always sound different. It will always be different because you can play it live. You know, that's why I'm really happy that we cleared this up now, because I was like, you know, this is a really cool raw, rough sound. But I was really thinking, okay, you know, there's some backing tracks here involved, but I'm really happy to hear that you do it live, and it's really cool. It's very unusual, and it's really hard on you. More on Ruud than on Stefan. You know, like, once again, I don't want to put you down. You play drums really nice, but yeah, it's
yeah, to help me with the bag though. We always carry the 40 kilo bag together. So.
yeah, I think so.
And in that sense, I think a nice closing, because you also said, yeah, you think the Russian trains are not so cool. I think Discodix is also a bit like a Russian train. It's like sometimes slow, sometimes not working, sometimes not so comfortable, but we kind of always get it working.
Perfect. Yeah, that's the perfect ending. And now we have only 1 minute left. So thank you very much, guys. It was really fun to get to know you and to peek behind the curtain. What is Disco Dicks? Yeah, I really hope soon you can go back on tour, and yeah, we stay in touch. Once this ends here, I will end it now. So I'll be faster than Zoom, and then I will chat with Stefan for what happens next. Okay, thank you very much, guys. It was really nice to have you, and yeah, talk to you later.